What is up guys, it is Simba here and welcome back to another league racing video on F1 24, and today it's going to be the start of a new league on this game called COT. It stands for Champions of Tomorrow. I've got sent an invite to the league and I'm excited to get this one underway as there's a stacked grid apparently on its way, and as you can see the calendar only 8 rounds, so it should be a very fast paced season. As yeah, I'm looking forward to this and I hope you guys are as well. So if you are looking forward to a new league on the channel, make sure you get subscribed to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video. So here we go then. We start the season off in Australia, and if you saw the WOR season opener I made I think a month ago now, you know that race did not go very well, and the main problem was qualifying. So we're going to try and do a bit better. I'm not going to try and waste too much time going over qualifying, because if you've seen the title already, you know this race. There's quite a lot to get through. So we're going to try and just skip through the first lap. As you can see, it's looking pretty decent. That right-hander there wasn't the best. You don't really want to be touching that curb as we kind of drift our way through the penultimate corner, on the throttle through the final corner. DRS wide open, up towards the line, and we're going to do a 15.5, which does put us P1 momentarily. So I was actually quite happy with that as a banker lap. And we're going to go again for the final lap of the session. You can see we've dropped to P5. Only 16 of us racing for this opening round. I'm hoping that we will get a full grid for the next round, which is in China, which is tomorrow as I'm recording this. So let's see what we do on the final lap. DRS wide open, up to 8th gear, and you spot the 50-meter board going into turn 1, down to 5th. Very easy to invalidate on the exit, but we actually nail the exit, and we open DRS again to spot turn 3. Spotting the black box on the left-hand side, down to 3rd gear, and you want to try and just move the car to the right to open up turn 4, and we do that quite nicely as well. So first sector is looking pretty good at this point in time. A 10.5 up already. It's a 26.1. as we turn in a bit too early for turn 6, but we managed to get away with it. But that's not exactly the optimal line you want to be taking through that corner. DRS wide open again as we come up towards the fast left-right chicane. This is where we spun off in WR in the race. Down to 7th gear, cutting the inside curb this time compared to the first lap, and we are just over a 10.5 up as we look to close out the lap. So down the gears into 4th, we turn in a bit too early for this right-hander. And on the exit, we completely lose almost our entire advantage. A good 10.5 dropped there, which is quite frustrating, but we've still got 2 corners to go. We actually hit the apex for the penultimate corner. We don't spin on the curb as Renz Thomason sets the pace with a 15.1. We're going to improve by just under 3/4 of a tenth and to go P5 with a 15.4, which is pretty solid, but obviously we dropped a 10.5 through that one right-hander. So I don't think it would have made too much of a difference. We would have been P4 anyway. So you can see Renz Thomason, he's in tier 1, I think, in WR or PSGL. I'm not too sure which one it is, but he's rapid on this game. And he sets the benchmark with the first pole position with a few quick drivers behind him. And we're in 5th, so we're in a pretty solid position. So let's see what we're going to do in the race, because that's where you score points. You can see quickly, we're going to start on the hards, but I actually decided to change my mind and switch to the mediums because we are starting quite a way up the field. Right, I don't like the idea of losing at least 3 places by starting on the hard. So we're going to start on the mediums once more, and we're going to see how we do in this first race in a new league. So here we go then. 5 red lights ahead of the drivers for COT, and we are underway down under. And the main priority for us now is to get past the McLaren of Scenario, who started on the hards, as we try and fend ourselves round outside into turns 1 and 2. He gives us plenty of space and respect on the first lap, but now we're going to try and use the softer tyres to our advantage by outbraking him into turn 3 with a little bit of contact on the way in. But by the time we get to turn 4, we've locked in the move and we are up into P4s. We nearly lose the cars. We dip a wheel into the grass. Similar moment to what we did in AEC in Zandvoort. So we've managed to avoid that, gain the place, and now we can try and keep up with the top 3. I will admit, the pace up front looked pretty strong, but now this is going to be a recurring theme throughout this entire video. Everyone's really close, and it's really hard to gap someone out of DRS around this track. So you're going to see a lot of battling, as you can see. We've got EVR Connor sending on the inside through the right-hander. We let him go because he's on the same tyres as us. And, you know, you can see the lap counter in the top left of your screen. It's lap 3. You know, you're not going to win the race on lap 3. So there's no point. We're all in the DRS train as well. So there's absolutely no point trying to rush things. Will definitely be a lot more fighting towards the end of the race, you would feel. So I say that, but this is just the beginning. Like I said, there's going to be a recurring theme throughout the video. As you can see, there's a few cars going up ahead. As you can see now, Scenario sends at the inside at the chicane, and I kind of backed out of it to try and set up an exit going into the right-hander. We'll have the inside line, but again, we just back out of it. No point fighting that. You know, he can do that if he wants to. I'm choosing to stay alive, and also the car behind us, Velocita, has already got a 3-second penalty. So it's really easy to pick up warnings and penalties around this track. And that's the main thing I want to stay disciplined with. As you can see, Scenario's got a penalty already as we got onto lap 7. And you can see Nail Giot in the Visa Cash App RB. I'll just call it the RB. He's had a massive moment through the chicane. And we're going to take advantage of it up the inside into the right-hander, giving plenty of space on the outside line compared to a certain someone with a Spark 2015 in SLR on the last game. And we get back up to P5. So we've just taken advantage of a mistake up ahead. And there might be a few more on the cards here. As you can see, the two McLarens of Damien and Scenario going side by side, going into turn 1. So clearly, they're not following papaya rules, whatever the hell those are. So on to lap 8 now. You can see we're just trying to save the battery. You can see Velocita, again, just like Scenario, he's going to send it through the chicane, and he's got 6 seconds of penalty. So I don't know what he's doing this for, but we're going to try and do the same move we did to Nail on the last lap as we go up the inside.
Okay, the locking's crazy. Okay, he's almost died. And we've lost the train.
And we've got a VSC because of it. Now, understandably, he wasn't very happy. He believes I pushed him off the track. But you could watch it back. We were going into the corner ahead. We outbraked him. And we locked with his front wing or his front right tyre. And there was a car on my inside as well going through that corner. So I couldn't really give him the space I wanted to. So, yeah. He's out of the race. He wasn't very happy with me afterwards, but, you know, it is what it is. He's actually retired from the race, so fair enough, I guess. But so, onto the hards we go. And we had a VSC. It's going to be ending soon. And we're going to see if we can try and get these sides to the end. It should be pretty easy. There's no rain on the forecast, so, like I said in the background, this is going to be really boring now, because I was thinking that, you know, the tyre splits would create a very interesting strategy between the overcut and the undercut. But, yeah, now we just have the one tyre to go to the end of the race with as we go on to the end of lap 9. We're just sitting behind Nail, just trying to make sure we don't lose the DRS train. But TF10 Mattis is out of the session, and that has brought out a safety car on the very next lap. So now we might be in trouble of losing track position. So as you can see now, we're about to start lap 10. So the safeguard goes out for quite a lap because he hasn't picked up the leader. And now we're using the overtake to try and stay ahead of Scenario. He's just pitted for medium tyres. We tried to go around the outside, but yeah, we ended up off the track to get past him there. And we give the place, obviously. And that is us in P6. And we were, I think, a net P5 just before the safeguard came out as well. So it's not ideal. But he is on the softer compound, so he should have a tyre advantage compared to most of us who are on the hard for 1 or 2 laps. So watch out for Scenario in his safety car restart. You've got Renz leading the way from pole position. He's going to get this race restarted, and we are on the way. And Nail has kind of bogged down on the restart. He's been caught napping here by Scenario. Going into turn 1, Nail going on the inside has kind of just provided us a bit of a distraction as we completely cut turn 1. So that's our first warning of the race. And we'll just have to make sure that we don't do that again. As Scenario goes up the inside of the RB going into turn 3. He'll have the outside line going into turn 4. And he completes the move very nicely. And Nail really struggling to warm up those hard tyres, similar to what happened to us as Zandvoort in AEC. But going into turn 6, we go a bit wide.
That's 2 already, Jesus. That's not ideal.
That really isn't ideal, because now that's 2 warnings in 1 lap. So, yeah, we are in big trouble now. So we've gone from having no warnings at all to being 1 warning away from a 3-second time penalty. So we're really challenging our own discipline to stay on the track here, because Australia, like I said, it's very easy to get warnings because it's the yellow line which is determined for track limits, not the white line that you'd see across most of the, if not all the tracks on this game. So yeah, we're gonna have to bear that in mind. So yeah, it really isn't great. We're not really making things easy for ourselves, but we will gain places on penalties anyway, as we skip on to lap 16. We're chilling in 6th.
Oh, there goes Connor.
Make that 5th as Connor goes for a spin at the exit of turn 1. Nail is trying to pass Scenario around the outside at turn 3. He'll have the inside for turn 4, and Scenario wants to keep his car in there. He tries to stick his front wing in there, and this is really not helping as we're losing the train. I believe Scenario got an illegal overtake, hence he's giving the place back to Nail, and unfortunately that has just allowed the top 2 of Damien and Renz just to pull away that little bit away from everybody else. And now we're going to try and pass Scenario as well. We've got the outside line. We're nearly going to get boxed in by the RB. We're going to try and hold things around the outside, but nothing quite doing, as Connor is out of the race as well. So yeah, this is really not great in terms of us trying to get a little bit higher than 3rd in this race. We are going to have to wait our turn, as meanwhile the sister RB of Lucas sends it at the chicane, gets the move done, but gets himself a penalty. And that's exactly why I was not really understanding why people would go for moves at this chicane. We're going to go up the inside. We give him quite the squeeze as we do retain P5. It wasn't the cleanest of squeezes there. Well, I think I've just pushed him off the circuit, but I don't think Lucas reported me for that. So we keep pressing on in P5. So that's the frustrating thing at the moment. We are trying to save battery. We are trying to prepare ourselves to pass the McLaren, whose mediums might be going off at this point. So it's up to us to try and pick our right moment to pass him. You can see by lap 21, Lucas has repassed us, and he's now looking to get up to P4 as he's looking at Scenario's P4 as he goes up the inside of the right-hander. There's a lot of contact between the two, and we just sweep right past him, and we reclaim P5 once again. So yeah, it's kicking off here in Australia. Round 1, everyone wants to do well, everyone wants to put in a good impression, as again Lucas goes up the inside of the penultimate corner. But I'm going to get a message from Jeff which changes the race.
The radar showing a clear patch on its way. There's about 10 more minutes of this rain. Dries definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
So this is something that I did not really prepare for. So over the last lap or 2, it has started to rain, and apparently it's going to carry on for another 10 minutes as Lucas gets past Scenario. We're going to try and stick our nose on the inside into turn 4, but again nothing's quite doing. Theoretically, Lucas should have the advantage as he is on the softer compound, which will provide him more grip in these conditions. You can see on the minimap the 2 Ferraris have pitted, so Renz has pitted for intermediate tyres. We're still going on dry tyres when the track is getting worse. So at this point, I'm hoping that the track dries up, the rain clears away, and we might have a chance of getting our podiums. We go up the inside of Scenario once again. Plenty of space given between the 2 of us. We're going to try up the inside through this right-hander, but we give each other enough room and respect. Good racing between the 2 of us, despite the track continuing to get worse here. It's a question of, do you stay out or do you pit? And logically, you would go and pit for a set of intermediate tyres, even though there might be a doubt of you catching back up again. So we finally breeze past Scenario round the outside, so we're up into P4 now, and we're in a net P3 as Lucas has a penalty as well, as AMS Wards has found his way in this battle as well. So it is really a decision of do you pit or not, because I don't know if this rain is going to get worse or not. So at the moment we are going to try and stay out. There's only 5 laps to go, and even if some people might pit, we're going to dedicate ourselves to staying out, which is definitely the riskier choice of the two. On to lap 25, we're just sat behind the 2RB to a second and third. And there might not be for long as Lucas hits the wall at the exit at turn 4. And again, we take the chance, we sweep through, and we're up into the podium places. And you can see Damien has got 13 seconds of penalties. So right now, if we pass Nail and just stay in second, we could actually win the race, which is ridiculous. Damien's benefited from the train splitting. A few laps ago, was really struggling through that penultimate corner. The DRS train broke on lap 15, and he's been really pulling away since, as Nail throws in the towel, goes on to the intermediate. So right now, we're P2, and we could win this race, but the track and the conditions are clearly getting worse. But we might as well dedicate ourselves to it now. I think it might be just a bit too late to pit, as we won't get that time back if we pit now. So we might as well dedicate ourselves to staying out, as Lucas gets his way through up into P2. We're struggling on this lap as Wards is pushing us through the track. Lucas is drifting through turn 5, and he's still able to keep it on the road. The conditions are getting a lot worse as we have a moment through 6, and Wards takes the place. And you can see Reigns is 10 seconds behind us right now, and this might not be the right decision.
10 minutes left of this rain, then we think it's going to dry up. 10 minutes. Okay, dry seem like the best tyre for now.
As Jeff has told me that this rain is not going away.
DRS has been disabled by the stewards. DRS will be offline. Wait for further updates.
And that is the second sign that this was the wrong decision. You can see we've cut to lap 28 now. Elvis has told us that the rain was going to carry on for another 10 minutes, like 2 laps ago. So that told me that, yeah, he's chatting absolute honk. And that has completely ruined our chances as DRS is disabled. And that is the main indicator on F1 games, if it's time for wet tyres or not. If DRS is disabled, and it is. So Renz, he's got past us. I chose life to let him through because there's no point fighting him. He went round the outside of Wards at the penultimate corner. And now Nail, who pitted 4 laps ago, he's right on our gearbox as well, as Renz is trying to pass Lucas. Lucas ends up off the circuit. Wards goes through. We're going to try and make a move on Lucas, but Nail is also trying to make a move on his teammate, as there's absolutely no grip. Lucas is still drifting about. There is absolutely no grip on these hard tyres, and it's created quite a chaotic ending on who's going to be on the podium. We know that Damien's got 13 seconds of penalties. It's just a question of Nail probably on his way to win the race. Who's going to join him on the podium? That is the main question. We're down to P6 now, but I've managed to save up quite a bit of battery to use on this long straight towards the chicane, and we're going to use it to try and pass Lucas. We don't need to pass him. We don't have a penalty, but I'd love to get this on track. We are going to get boxed in by the Sauber, but Lucas has drifted one too many times. He's off the track. It's a flashback to what happened to us in WOR, and we're up into P5 now, but it might not be for long because Scenario also pitted for intermediate tyres, and he's catching us by literally corner after corner here. We are just struggling to get this Williams on the wrong tyres, the checkered flag. You can see how much the gap has gone down as Damien wins this race on track, and I'll talk about him a little bit later. But here comes Scenarios. We're going to try and run up to the line. Is he going to get us? Not quite. And that is us in P3 in this Australian Grand Prix, despite being on the wrong compound of tyre. And I was actually pretty happy with P3 there. We chose the wrong decision in hindsight, as there is Nail winning the race. Ren's in P2 and ourselves in P3 by not having a penalty. So the discipline did pay off, and that is my second league racing podium in this league racing season and on F1 24. So it's good to get it on track this time, because at AEC Bahrain we didn't get it on track. We got after the stewards, but unfortunately that's where the celebrations end, because as you can see, provisionally we are P3. Damien finished 4th despite having 13 seconds of penalties, but there was a lot of penalties because it's Australia. But you can see on screen Damien did get all of his penalties removed, and as a result, he is your race winner. He got the speeding penalty removed and the 3-second penalty, so that means he is your winner, and we are pushed down to P4, which is a bit of a shame, but I actually enjoyed this first race. The pace looks pretty good. We can keep up with some of these quicker guys, which is always good, which shows the pace is really getting better and better with each passing race, especially on this game. And I look forward to the next one, which is going to be in China, which is going to be round 2, and I'm streaming that one tomorrow at 7 PM UK time. So guys, that's the end of today's video. Make sure you hit the like button and subscribe for more League Racing content. And as always, I will see all of you in the next one.